things first, we are recording. So you're going to get that little notification. And we are making an attempt to go live on Facebook. So we'll let the technology work its magic, should it. Worst case, we'll at least have the recording. Okay. That being said, yeah, I'll let everyone in.
Okay, there we go.
Hi from Ohio.
Are we good? Everybody's in?
Everybody's in that was in the waiting room, and then I'll continue to admit them as they arrive.
Okay, well, we'll get started. Welcome everybody to our Meet the Candidates, sponsored by the Illinois Network, myself and Sam. I'm not sure everybody will be on, but Tracy, Megan, Maureen, Nakia, Judy, Brett, and Tony. So we're going to start by introducing all the candidates that are here. And then Ed Neves, the Illinois Realtors president, will say a few words, and then we'll get started with the program. So welcome to Sylvia Siebold, currently serving as the National First Vice President and running for President-elect, to Lori Muller, running for President-elect as the slated candidate, Chris Lee, who is not currently here, but she's running for first vice president. Tracy Hartnett, running for treasurer. Sheila Moran, running for the national liaison of the Western region. Tammy Marcela, running for national liaison of the Western region. Rose LaPiera, running for national liaison of the Eastern region. Eileen Oldroyd, running for national liaison of the Eastern region. And Stacy Krolak, running for the national liaison of the Central region. So that's everybody, except for Chris. So I will now turn it over to Ed Neves, who has graciously offered to say a few words to us today. Thank you, Ed.
Thank you, Lynn, and greetings to all of you WCR members. Illinois Realtors appreciates the opportunity to address your group during these challenging times, and we hope that all of you are safe and healthy right now. I think many people's first reaction to this unprecedented crisis like this would be to assume that it would cause a lot of failure or paralysis in our industry. But as Illinois Realtors president, and as a designated managing broker myself of my own company, I have witnessed our industry successfully rise to the challenge. I've witnessed realtor colleagues pivot practically overnight to utilizing technology and virtual tours to continue to sell homes. In one micro example, my wife, some of you know, is a realtor, practicing realtor also, and her team have sold over 60 houses since this all started, but most of them were virtual. The ones that were in person had very stringent protocol, but a lot of virtual showings, a lot of sight unseen, physically showings that went to contract. So as Illinois Realtors, the president, I'm proud but not surprised at how successfully and quickly we've navigated the political waters to ensure realtors could continue as essential business. We lobbied to extend the broker license renewal deadline, and we were part of getting the e-notary approved for Illinois. And I've been impressed with the high level of communications occurring during this time of social distancing. We've called every local association president, and Gary Clayton called every local association executive for a wellness check. We just checked in with everybody. How you doing? Office to office. Sue Miller, our treasurer, and Zeke Morris, Zeke's our treasurer. Sue is our president-elect. They also called their respective colleagues throughout the state to check in on everybody and see how they were doing. So far, so good. Everybody is adapting to the technology, and different geographic areas of the state do have different challenges, but we're there for them for whatever they need out of Springfield. And the stories of resilience are heartening, but there's also desire and need for trustworthy information. To that end, Illinois Realtors has created a standalone first-class page, www.illinoisrealtors.org/COVID-19. This thing is updated multiple times a day. It's got all the information. It's got everything about any kind of grants or any kind of unemployment that you need, how to file step by step by step, what's happening with protocol, and what our guidelines are from our different departments of government in order to show property. During my years in the Illinois Realtors leadership team, I've thoroughly enjoyed attending and interacting with WCR and its members. I am a member of the Peoria chapter and just love going to the meetings. Every time I'm reminded how strong this organization is and how you develop, foster, strengthen, and uplift your members into leadership roles throughout the state and throughout the nation. Several of you serve on Illinois Realtors committees as chairs. You participated in our leadership development program. You're on our board of directors, and you're on the National Association of Realtor Board of Directors. I look forward in the near future when we can all come together again and network to strengthen the partnership between our two organizations. Together, we will rise to the challenge, continue to develop strong leaders. We will resurge our industry into the next decade. Thank you again for inviting me, and on behalf of Illinois Realtors, have a great session.
Thank you very much, Ed, for those informative and inspiring words. I really appreciate, we all appreciate you joining in today. So hopefully you can stay and listen.
Yes,
and
will
right
do.
now I'm going to turn this over to Sam, who's going to start our question. And a little bit.
Yeah, obviously we want to get the ball rolling. I've got a couple of housekeeping things. Our first reminder is that you will each have 90 seconds to answer each of the questions as we call upon you when it's your turn. I'll give you a little hand signal if everyone can see me, depending on how you have your display. I'll give you like just a little 10-second warning, and then you'll know that, wrap it up, bottom line it for us at that point. Please be concise and respectful of our other candidates and our members' time. And due to our time constraints and all of the many activities that some of our participants in this room have, for example, Carrie and Sylvia, and if Chris joins us, they will have to mass exit as soon as they answer their third question so they can attend the next commitment that they have for our national organization. Okay, so that being said, I'd like to get started. We've shared with you the order that we're going to go in. Just as a reminder, I'll call your name so that you know it's your turn, and then you can answer the question. So question number 1, and Lori, you are going to be the first one that we're going to call on. So Jeff, that's your cheat sheet. If you had a magic wand and money was not an obstacle in any way, what would be the first thing you would implement for our Women's Council? Take it away.
Take it away. Magic wand and a lot of money. I think the biggest thing would be to ensure that the members are seeing the value. So whatever that money is spent on, whether it be some consistency with meetings and events across the country, I think that as Women's Council members, we all have a different path and different journey that we're going on. So to be able to reach more people who aren't currently members, to use that money for growth and retention. So to grow current people that we have and retain them, as well as to grow our membership through, we have this venue right now with social media and with the Zoom. We're all Zooming every day, right? We haven't landed our 2 feet on the ground for some time now. And with Zoom, we are able to reach so many more people than we ever have been. And I don't know if that necessarily costs a lot of money, but I think we need to get consistent with it now because we've all wrapped our arms around it and we've adapted to it. And that's the great to be able to grow and retain.
Awesome. Thank you. That takes us to Sylvia, please.
Perfect. I would love to have a magic wand. The first thing I would do would be expand our Network 360 to all our leaders. We have about 1,200 leaders in the nation, and that includes everyone on all the governing boards at the state and local levels, as well as having our national liaisons there, and then expand the capacity, not only a number, but the training that we do at Network 360. And then I would love for Network 360 to have a wrap up where everyone gets to decide what type of mentorship program they would like to belong on. Would they want to be a mentor or a mentee? What services can they offer to others? And start that actual pairing of my dream for the organization of having a real developed mentorship program so that we can do more of that intentionally. We already do it organically, but when we put the intention there, it's going to expand and we are just going to grow as an organization. And it would be free. That's where the money comes in.
Awesome. Thank you. You guys are doing great on your timing, by the way. Carrie, I throw it to you. Take it away.
Oh gosh, if I had a magic wand and a lot of money. Well, I think expanding on, again, some of our programs that we already do well, Network 360 is definitely one of them. Our members are such, again, organic leaders that if you do put that fuel behind them, you know, they can seriously take off. Boy, oh boy, a lot of money and a magic wand. I could do a lot of damage. But I wouldn't want to do a lot of damage. I actually, you know, especially during these days, I'd look at what we're spending that's working. And I'd probably look at what's not working and adjust accordingly. And just really put the fuel behind what is really working, whether that be new programs or Network 360 or, you know, just in general, our great sessions that we have. Thank you for the opportunity.
Our pleasure. Thank you. Sheila, take it away. Oh, okay. Sheila, let's have you take two. You're unmuted now. Thanks for joining us.
I would say a magic wand, I would probably go a lot more local. And I know that one of the biggest struggles, especially where I hail from Texas, with our locals was the accounting structure. I know that would be something significant that they would definitely need help on if we had more qualified, say, bookkeeping or accounting people to help them with that. And then also a platform for communication as far as storage of documents and whatnot, not only at a national level to be the locals, but also the locals to have within themselves. I think if we can get them a lot more organized in their operations, that they can spend more time helping build leaders.
Awesome. Thank you. That takes us to Rose. Let's make sure you're unmiked first now that we've learned our lesson. Sorry about that. Rose, you're unmiked, please.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. And if I had unlimited funds and a magic wand, one of the things I would like to see is the local, the state networks or the local networks have very exciting speakers, top speakers that can speak on things that are important to us, like how to do these calls. I know everybody's doing everything with the Zoom right now, but I would love, you know, if we get the chance soon to have live speakers and have them there, somebody like a Lee Brown, and like, you know, pay for them to come. And I think that that's great. And we want new leaders too. So my focus is really on developing new leaders and mentor them in the future. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Rose. Eileen, take it away.
The culture of Women's Council all comes down to the 3 words of leaders made here, and that really is our brand. And we need to help our members understand that, and not only that we are leaders made here, but I like to call us the 1%ers. That 1% of the NAR membership controls is 25 over 20% of the leadership. There's a real power everyone to have their unique. So Women's Council gives us the opportunity to do that. It has the safe environment. We have the tools, and not only do we have the tools, but we have the ability to apply those tools so people can find their unique leadership style. But what the culture that we should probably promote, and if I had my magic wand, is that we build servant leaders. And there's a difference between it being a servant leader and a manager leader. And that is really the power of where we come from. So educate about the culture of Women's Council, the power of us, that we build leaders for the industry, and for that we are known as a professional women's organization, not ladies who lunch, that we're killing it. And they are. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Sam Powell, human error here. We're now going to ask Tammy to please take the stage. Thank you.
Good morning, Illinois, and your 8 networks. Nice to talk with you. Magic wand, tons of money. OMG, how fabulous. Well, I want to ask you guys how to do it, because I'm going to create a committee that says, listen, what do we need to do? And get all of your minds involved. That's what we do. We collaborate. So I would take my magical money. There's a lot of big box brokerages out there that actually, have their agents leading the brokerage. That's what we do here too. And so I would just ask you, the members, what do you think this money would do? And then have a big party at the end. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. And Stacy, if you would, please.
Good morning, everyone. If I had a magic wand and endless money, I would have a lot of fun. I would bring someone in like a Tony Robbins that would help us with our core leadership values and make us just grow 300% from our national level all the way down, and have personal coaches for each one of us and just see the growth. So then we would be able to reach out to all of our members and even non-members and just bring more people in. I would just love to see that wave of energy and growth within our organization. So then at NAR, the women leaders wouldn't be the 12%. We would probably be the 70% that we make up the women leaders. So that's what I would love to see.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. That concludes question number 1. I didn't miss anyone else. Tammy, thank you for being so gracious. Question number 2 we've got for you. Again, 90 seconds. If you would bottom line for us the best way that you can, what would you say is your personal vision for the Women's Council during your leadership? Or take it out further if you want to, and tell us what you envision for the Women's Council in the next 5, 10 plus, however you want to answer that question in a story. And Stacy, we're starting with you.
Okay. So the vision that I would see for 5, 10 years in the Women's Council would be the skill of influence, to teach each one of us individually how to influence more women leaders, wrap their arms around them, bring them in to our organization and help them grow and pivot and change into the future. That would be my biggest goal. I would absolutely love to see that, because that will be a movement like no other, and we will change the whole landscape of our Women's Council.
Thank you, Stacy.
You're so welcome.
I'm thinking about that, and I think that it's really what we accomplished in California in a very, this pandemic has been profound. Oh, I got to time myself. This pandemic has been profound because it really has compressed what we were trying to accomplish in California in a very short amount of time. And I answered it before a little bit in my previous question, which was the culture of Women's Council, exactly what we do, and for our members to understand that of us being leaders made here. So in 5 years, I think that for all of our members to embrace and be proud of Women's Council and the value of membership, that we can take someone who may be afraid of public speaking, may be afraid to engage and with their other members and lead a team, and they know that Women's Council will take them wherever that leadership journey, wherever they want to go, whether it be local, on a state level, that Women's Council truly is the leadership learning lab, and that we cultivate the future of our industry. And the more confident women we have in roles, in leadership roles, diversification will have in the industry, and we will change the culture of not only Women's Council, but the entire industry itself. Thank you.
Nicely done, right under the wire. And just so you know, well, I love that you're timing yourself because you can see the timer, but I'm also timing for everyone. So if that helps you or makes you more stressful, I apologize in advance. Rose, I throw it to you. Is Rose muted?
I'm sorry.
There you go.
I'll
It's
start.
okay. Yes, please.
Okay. My vision for the next 5 years or beyond is, first of all, to get new leaders. To me, leaders are great. Now, what I would like to see is for each region maybe to have their own leadership academy to get new leaders started, not only at Network 360 or the Leadership Academy that we have at National, but the region, each state, because I know that we're trying to do it in our state right now. So I would like to see that as one of the things. And if I had unlimited funds, I don't know, maybe everybody could get their PMN designation and we can help in some way. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Rose. Tammy, in the effort to not skip you, let's have you go next.
Thank you. So, personal vision, you know, our mission states that we are advancing business leaders and the communities we serve. So that's my mission. Always, I do it at the meetings. I bring our long-term goals, our short-term goals from the council into all my meetings so that we stay focused and think about what, you know, what's important. And for me, I think that I would like to, you know, see that ripple effect that I've seen in so many people around me where, you know, they start, as we heard, they come in and they're not talking, and the next thing you know, they're up at front of the, you know, of the podium, and they're off to the side running a committee. And this is helping their family. This is helping their net worth. You know, we're changing people's lives by offering them, being open and welcoming to them. So, you know, to have our values and our mission statement reinforced constantly is what I think, and with the collaboration, I mean, what we're doing right now, we had 1,000 members go on and learn new education. So education, education, education. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Sheila Moran, let's make sure you unmic yourself if you haven't.
I have now. 5 to 10 years. I think that we need to have a better stronghold on some sort of mentorship program, because we lose a lot of members in order to retain them, because it's always great to have new members, but it's also great to have those that have been to come back. But I think we need to figure out and know our members better as far as what it is that they're seeking and how can we help them. And I think a mentorship program like that would help them get what they're looking for out of Women's Council, would also retain them. On that, probably something more along the lines of more strategic thinking within our locals and our state, to coincide with what National is looking for. That way we're not year by year, we're running 3 to a 5 year increment, which I think would help them have a better goal and a better progress than, or hit or miss one year after another. I think that would also help. Plus also some sort of vision for their own network, and would also help in that retention as well, I believe. So that would be my thoughts.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Carrie, microphone, please.
Got it. I'm not going to be that girl. Just kidding. Anyhow, you know, 5 to 10 years is really a long time. I don't plan 10 years in advance because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So I like to look at it like a 1, 3, 5, 1 year, 3 year, 5 year. So in 1 year, who knows where we're going to be? You know, we're probably going to be a little bit similar to where we're at right now, possibly having some in-person meetings, possibly not. So either way, my vision, my plan, my hope for the future, because I know that this has been a huge thing for my journey, is professionalism. We are a professional organization. We all know how to read and we all know how to interpret things. And I'd like to see us reading and working together to interpret things the way they were written. I'd like to see more collaboration over, you know, just different parts of the country coming together to collaborate, because we are all different. And sometimes someone from California may know something that could help, well, always could help me in Oregon, but could help someone in Florida. You know what I mean? Because what I know is that in the middle of the country, and I'm not necessarily in the middle of the country, you guys are more in the middle of the country than I am, that things that happen on the coasts tend to come towards us in the middle, right? So I would like to see more collaboration and professionalism. That's my vision for the future.
Fantastic. Thank you, Carrie. Sylvia, you're in charge of your mic.
Okay. So I am all about mentorship and developing a mentorship program. And I do like to think it like at 30,000 feet. So I have strong goals that I would love to see for us in the next 10 to 15 years. And that would include very large local networks that are not struggling with the 20 to 30 membership issue. And they're all over 100 members because they are giving such value to their members because of this mentorship program. And as a result, we're going to start seeing more leaders. Currently, we range in the 23 to 27% range of women's council leaders that are also serving at NAR. I would love to see that at least 50%, if not more than that. And in 50 years, I would love for us to have our first full line of women leaders for NAR that are all women's council supporters. So that is a goal. We have had very few women presidents, and it's time we see a whole line of women.
Mhm.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And Lori, if you would close out our final, for question number 2, and control your mic if you'd be so kind.
Thank you very much, Sam. That was a great question. And I would agree with Carrie on the 1, 3, and 5-year plan. I think that the goals of everyone is not the same, and we have to make sure we have paths for everyone so that they don't outgrow the Women's Council. And we've seen that over the years where people run up certain leadership levels or ladders, and then they discontinue their association with the Women's Council. So to have a platform for people who feel that they've plateaued and outgrown us, to keep some type of mentorship program in place for them. Also, I believe that not everyone's path is a national leadership position, but I think that Women's Council can be an organization that empowers other women to open up their brokerages, to go into a manager type position for a brokerage. Because there's a lot of people that I know that I've met through the years with Women's Council that they don't even want to go past their state, you know, but they still want to continue to learn and grow as leaders. And I think that we have to have programs in place for them to allow for the retention, as well to draw in additional members as well.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Thanks for answering question number 2. And for our final question, we all have strengths and weaknesses. We don't have time for you to answer both of those for us. So what we're asking you to do is choose one. Choose a strength of yours or a weakness of yours, and then share with us how you'll use that strength or weakness to empower yourself and others to grow through Women's Council. And first on the docket is Sylvia. If you do your mic, please.
Yes. Okay, so I'm going to go with the one that probably most people don't like talking about, which is their biggest weakness. And my biggest weakness is I have cared way too long about what other people think. And I have dimmed my own light to have acceptance. And so in a way, I think my biggest weakness is also my biggest strength, because I want to speak out on it, that we should accept people for who they are and where they are in their leadership journey. And I think that being authentic and having these candid conversations about leadership can be ugly and it can be great, and all of that in between, that it's going to grow the number of leaders we see stepping up, because we actually have them picturing themselves in us when we're on stage versus thinking that they have to be perfect before they can get there.
Awesome. Thank you. Carrie, if you would check your mic.
Strength or weakness? I'm going to go with my strength, which could also be my weakness. I'm really good at getting people to work together on both sides of the aisle, actually. I feel that that is similar to my last answer. It's going to be the bridge that holds us together, the glue that holds us together. We have to set aside our differences to be able to work together in both a real estate transaction, raising a child, anything. You have to set aside your differences. So I think that is my biggest my strength, and can also be a weakness at times as well. So I would use that to just bring us all together, get us on the same page so that we can move forward for the greater good of all of our members.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Lori, I've got you next, if you'll do your mic.
Sure. I'm going to go with the weakness. And one of the things that I think is that as an individual, as a businesswoman, as a leader, as a mom, I always believe that everyone's going to be truthful and I can trust everyone, and what they say is what they're going to do. And I've learned through not only owning a brokerage or being in the real estate industry as a whole, you know, we have that saying, buyers are liars, but people do not tell you the truth. And I always want to try to see the best in people. And I think that's probably one of my weaknesses. And I think we need to be professionals in any setting, no matter what it is, to encourage each other, to be open to listening to other people's ideas. Because when you work together as a team and you allow people to be vulnerable and in a room where they can share and they feel that they can trust you, so many things come out of that wouldn't have come out of it if it was just one person sharing and saying, this is the way we're going to do it. So I think we have to respect everyone's opinions. I think we need to work together. And I think that's one of the weaknesses that I've had, is always believing that people are going to, walk the walk, talk the talk. We always think people are going to say and do what they say they are going to do.
Awesome. Thank you. Sheila, your mic, please.
I am going to go with a strength. And one of my strengths is strategic thinking. And I know I've already talked about this earlier today because it kind of, to me, it ties everything in. But I think if we can show our members too how to strategically think, like I said, in our networks, not just be, oh, this is 1 year, this is 1 year. Let's build a plan and think ahead of what do we want the goal to be? Do we want reserves in your bank? Do we want an education fund? Things of that nature, how we can make them a lot more solid so then they can be out building our leaders. But not only how they can utilize that strategic thinking within their business, which will only help them be a lot more organized, as well as goal setting, and be more productive and successful. So I think that would be a good tool that I think that I could bring to the table. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you. That takes us back to you, Tammy, if you'd be so kind to check your mic.
Thank you, Sam. Appreciate, again, Illinois for allowing us to do this. I think I've learned, I'm going to go with my strengths, which I have been empowered by the Women's Council. I believe that I don't have to be the smartest. And what happens is I get to ask you all for help. And anything that I need to do, I can get from Women's Council. And I think that's the willingness to adapt, to pivot, to change. I mean, when this COVID came up, it was pretty stifling. You had fear, you didn't want to move, but not with my Women Council ladies. Oh no, they were not even thinking that way. So I have to hang around with the winners. Women's Council has, been around for 80 plus years. They know how to do this, and they will continue to excel. I cannot tell you how much my brain is going to explode by all the stuff you guys are going to come out with because of our Zoom meetings. We are becoming so much smarter, so much stronger together. We're collaborating. I see it from California, from the East Coast to the West Coast. We'll continue that. Thank you for all your help thus far.
Thank you, Tammy. Rose, if you would check your mic first.
Okay, let's see. What I will choose strength as well, because what I love more than anything else is to bring people together, and I love to recognize talent. I mean, you know what? When you tap somebody on the shoulder, it really makes them feel so special, right? Because somebody, I'm sure of all of us, somebody has tapped you on the shoulder before, and that's why we're here. So recognize talent. I want to be, I think my best thing is that I'm a leader. I'm also a listener, but I am a cheerleader. I'm a cheerleader for you. So I just want to know, I just want to recognize you and maybe sometimes root for you. But one of the things, I don't know if it's bad or good, but I always look at the other side. I always root for the underdog or something like that. I don't know exactly how it's said, but I'm always there to see the bright side of things. Thank you.
Thank you, Rose. Eileen, Chris has just joined the room, and I'm wondering if I may have your permission to pause. Chris Lee, there you are. Hi, girlfriend. Because you, I was about to say because you know the questions, but you don't know the questions. What we'd like to do is insert you into the conversation right now. We're on question number 3, and it's a choice question. So I'm going to read it to you and then we'll allow you the opportunity to either go now, or if you want to go after Eileen goes, we'll give you a moment to think. So the question number 3 is about strengths and weaknesses. So we all have them. And we'd like you to choose one of them, either a strength or a weakness of your own, and share with us how you'll use that to empower yourself and others in our Women's Council. So you think you'd like to answer it now, or would you like to breathe for a minute and we'll come back? It's up to you.
Sure.
Now?
Sure, I'm happy to. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. And apologies for my delayed arrival here. And I have, my mother-in-law's puppy behind me because we're improvising this morning. But so yes, weaknesses or strengths in the council. Unfortunately, I think it's easier for all of us to come up with weaknesses, personal weaknesses right off the top of our head. And I think that's probably one of the strengths of the council, is that that's something that we recognize, and it's a place that it's safe for us to come and learn to realize that yes, we have weaknesses and we can learn how to embrace them and turn them on ear and use them to really empower ourselves further. And once we kind of figure that out, we can help other people do that as well. So, you know, my weaknesses, we all have a laundry list, I'm sure, but self-confidence is always one. Public speaking is always one. But just being able to know that, hey, you've been put in a situation, you can figure this out, you've done this before, and that therefore take that, learn from it, and take it to the next level and going forward in your life in whatever aspect that is. And I think that's something that we very much here teach within the council. And I know I've certainly benefited from it, and it's changed my life dramatically, sorry, lack of sleep.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you, Eileen, as well. If you would check your mic.
Thank you.
Thank you. You bet.
Man. I think this is a strength that we all should have, especially when we say yes to leadership, and that is to lead by example. When the pandemic hit and we were all being sheltered in place and our meetings were being canceled, it was important for us to mobilize and to show our networks what you could do, the power of what you could do. And so we as a team, we hunkered down and we provided training, we provided motivational sessions, we had social sessions because we wanted to show our networks the way. And it was because the beauty of being in the virtual environment, we started inviting people all across the United States to join us. It's like, you know, we're in this together. Not only are we in this together, but we're stronger together. And it all accumulated with this amazing spring meeting that we had on Monday with people that were speakers at the top of their game. So I would say that a strength that we should once again all consider for ourselves is, how are we leading by example? Are we building a community? And I feel that that we built a community in California to show other organizations. It's like, you know, this is how you can do it. Be a trailblazer. And part of being a trailblazer is showing people the way. And as national liaison, you do need to communicate in one cohesive voice and build a community with your particular region. And so I feel that that is the strength that I will bring to the table. So thank you.
Thank you very much. And our final mic check, we're throwing this to you, Stacy.
Okay, thank you, Sam. I would like to speak on strength, although if you're not careful, it could be a weakness, and we're always trying to improve ourselves, right? But the art of leadership, and always using the 80-20 rule, and the 20 rule being our smallness voice that is always back there kind of saying we can't do things. So when we're planning, we're working on ourselves or with our organization, make sure that we're working in the space of the 80%, which is the greatness, because that's where all the magic happens, and that's where we always do the best for the organization. So I would always say, make sure that we are working on our greatness space and going forward and doing the best that we can for ourselves, or for our improvement for ourselves and the organization. So that's my strength. Thank you, Sam.
Rock on, thank you. And before we go any further, I'd like to, with everyone's permission, I'd like to allow Chris, while we have her and we have a few minutes before people have to leave us, I would like to pose another question for you if you're game, Chris.
Certainly.
So,
good morning.
Okay, good morning. So we're going to give you question number 1, which is, if you were given a magic wand and money was no obstacle at all, what would be the first thing that you would implement for our Women's Council?
Oh, interesting. Well, and that is a list that might have changed in the last 6 weeks, really. Because maybe travel isn't as important. I think it definitely is. I think the face-to-face meetings in the Women's Council are essential to the body and the membership and how we operate, because we are a networking group, and the relationships that we build is really the backbone of the Women's Council experience, if you ask me. So I do think the in-person meetings are important, but I think that we're going to be able to pivot also and kind of hybrid that. And let's see, I think with all the money in the world, I still wouldn't allow anybody to be a member and say, everybody just sign up, because I think that we have a really special organization and it's not built for everybody, and everybody would not feel comfortable or find a home here. So I think I would put those resources toward what could we do more from national and filter it down to the state and local levels. And because a lot of our locals struggle with resources to put on the programs and events, and maybe being able to alleviate some of that. Gosh, I'm working on a really small amount of sleep here. I apologize.
You're doing fantastic.
But I do think that there are things that we could do with programs and education delivery for leadership beyond just the elected leadership that we have. We, I've said this before, but we do a really good job of training the leadership that has been identified and elected. And we're pivoting now to try to identify further down the line, earlier in the process, and how do we develop those people on their paths. And with unlimited resources, we would have more opportunity to say, okay, if you want to go on this path, we're going to send you this way, this path send you this way, this path send you that way. And I know that resources have been a challenge of that in the past. So I think with the new technology, there's more that we can do on that even now, frankly, going forward, and that we might relook at some of those programs, I hope to anyway, and more of that perhaps. Are you waving at me? Sorry.
Yes. No, we did purposely give you a little bit of grace so that you could utilize that time. It's 10:43. I know that Sylvia, Carrie, and you, Chris, are going to need to leave us. And so how perfect is this timing that we're able to get through a majority of what we wanted to accomplish? Chris, thanks for joining us when you can. Lynn, do you have anything in closing that you'd like to add besides the fact that I hope to see everyone next week at our Women's Council mid-year? And Ed, I'd like to thank you again for being here and being a member as well, and the network that you're a part of. And Lynn, any closing words?
Well, thank you once again, Ed, and thank you all the candidates. Illinois wishes each and every one of you all the best in your Women's Council careers. I think Sam will talk a little bit about the logistics of the follow-up and question and answers, and then we'll say goodbye.
Yeah. Yep. So if you need to leave, absolutely leave. What we're going to do is take this recording and we're going to share it to our Women's Council Illinois page. And what we are hoping is that people that are here and people that were not able to be here, that perhaps there's an opportunity for some to continue the conversation and allow members to continue to ask questions and share thoughts and just keep this conversation going. Can't thank you guys enough for carving out your time to join us today. So I'm going to stop the recording, and this concludes our adventure together. Thank you. Bye.
Yay.